F1s have been around since the 50s and are still going strong. From March till November there is chaos as vehicles queue from the stadium doors all over the country as fans try to reach the tracks to watch the action. Coventry, Kings Lynn and Birmingham, to name a few, rumble as the sounds of the F1s vibrate late into the night. Sometimes parties and celebrations can continue into the early hours of the morning at the championships and larger meetings like double-headers at Skegness and other tracks. The first race took place in London at New Cross Stadium on April 16, 1954. It was promoted by a Northampton-born Australian named Digger Pugh. The cars have evolved over the past 63 years and are still changing in the workshops and garages all over the country every day. The horsepower of the cars has become unlimited, meaning the drivers can use any engine. However, they mostly use a Chevrolet-based small or big block V8 engine. As well as the cars, the drivers have evolved in the way that they race, with the cars changing along with them. Every few years, certain drivers would make a drastic change to the way they drive and the way their car ran. The most well-known driver to do this is Stuart Smith, or as everyone called him, Super Stu. Stuart Smith, Super Stu, or the Maestro, was and still is a legend in people's eyes, coming out of the sport with 13 consecutive point titles, 2 seasons with at least 50 final victories, a grand total of 500 final wins, 6 world championships, including 3 consecutive victories, 3 times British champion, 3 times European champion, and there was also its success overseas in Holland, New Zealand and South Africa. He was, simply, an outstanding talent and could dominate race meetings to the point that his presence would often reduce the races to a fight for second place. As well as being an outstanding driver, Stuart was also an innovator, being the first to bring a race-prepared 427 V8 Chevy into the sport, the first to sport a proper functional wing atop his roof, not to mention introducing offset axles and adjustable, tunable suspension components. Throughout his racing career, he strove for constant improvement to keep one step ahead of the field. As the 1970s unfolded, Stuart kept on winning right into the 1980s. He had one other string to his bow, however, and one that arguably caused more heated debate than any of his on-track actions. He was a true showman. He accepted the cheers and played up to the jeers. Those that already loved him more, and those that already hated him grew outraged to levels of near hysteria. Who could forget his multicoloured overalls, mock punch-ups on the track, proactive announcements over the PA? Always with tongue-in-cheek, always gaining the desired effect. Sadly, the Maestro left us at the end of 2010, but it will always be remembered in the hearts and minds of all stock car fans as being the greatest F1 stock car driver that the sport has ever seen. The rivalry between the Smiths and the Waymans was created between Stuart Smith and Frankie Wayman Sr., but was carried on by the next generation of the two families when Andy Smith, Super Stu's son, and Frankie Wayman Jr., Frankie Wayman Sr.'s son, went head-to-head on the track. They quickly became the crowd's favourite entertainment of the night when they both crashed bumpers in the heats of the meetings. There have been countless numbers of tracks that have come and gone over the past 60 years. This includes tracks like Long Eaton, Leicester, Cadwell Park, and most recently, Coventry. Brandon Stadium in Coventry opened in 1954 and has been a very popular track over the past 60 years, with many generations watching and racing at this track. The Shale track has run the first Saturday in every month since 1958, and then 40 years on, the stadium was completely revamped. But now, 60 years later, the track looks like this.
The 2014 World Championship final. It's Green, the 2014 World Championship. Oh, and it's a huge finish in defence there for 318 Rob Speed. They all go piling in down there.
Many tracks that have been closed down were like homes away from homes for thousands of people. As well as shale, there are also tarmac tracks. This includes tracks like Birmingham, Northampton and Skegness. Skegness often hosts double-header weekends with the F1s and other formulas racing there over 2 days. However, many people prefer shale. As they say, shale is for racing, tarmac is for getting there. In his busy schedule, we managed to catch Nigel Green, number 445 in BriSCA F1s, for a quick interview about his racing life and how it has impacted him and his family.
Hi, I'm Nigel Green, I'm 445 and I race BriSCA Formula 1.
When did you start racing and how long has it been?
Right, I started racing in 2008. So nearly coming up to 10 years now soon. Raced Formula 2 for 6 years and recently moved into Formula 1. But work took over, so I wasn't able to put too much time and effort into the Formula 1. Recently, last year, we had more time and was able to commit to to try and do a majority of the meetings and going for some championships. So yeah, last year was the main year in Formula 1.
Was there a reason why you started?
Yeah, I raced go-karts, funding it myself from about 2003, but found out after about 8 to 10 months of trying to win at that my budget wasn't big enough. So decided to do something a bit more within our budget and something where we could get sponsors and backing to do so. Decided to move into oval racing.
Is it family orientated, as in like, was it passed down for your family?
My father raced Formula 1s in the late 80s, early 90s, so yeah, I suppose we grew up around stock cars, so most people who race now have been introduced to it through family and one thing or another, so yeah, my dad started racing then, and that's where it sort of rolled into me.
Was this part of the reason why you chose the number 455?
Yeah, Dad had that in his early days when he was racing, so yeah, it sort of seemed right to continue with me using his number.
Do you have a favourite moment from the sport?
There are a few good moments, but one that sticks out is the first year I won the shootout series in Formula 2. That was the biggest race I'd won at that point, so yeah, that's one that sticks out in my mind.
Are there any less favourite moments?
Yeah, definitely. Last year, in the last round of the shootout, when I was leading the series, I had a prop shaft failure which cost me the title, so that was definitely the low point in my stock car career.
What are the plans for the future? Like, have you changed your strategy towards getting the gold roof?
Not necessarily with the gold roof. No, I learnt a bit this year from what we've for the racing we did in the shootout series. So we're just going to commit and do the same again this year. Not really change the strategy, just stick to what we know and go out to win races and hopefully get a title next year.
And lastly, what do you enjoy the most about racing?
Winning. So we only do it to win. So yeah, when you win, it's nice. It keeps everybody in the team, keeps the morale up. So yeah, that's what we're there for, and that's what we enjoy doing.
Thanks very much.
All right, thanks.